You know, a lot of people, oh, Egberto, that has not capitalism and racism. Look, I'm going to tell you something. Here is a connection. Capitalism on its own is not sustainable, and I'll explain why. And capitalism with not without racism cannot really exist because you have to create distractions for people and separation in people for others to allow a very small minority to control you and to take over all of your gains. Here is the deal. Bill Gates is a billionaire, and I'm using Bill Gates because he's usually considered a progressive and he has a lot of money, but he's in a capitalist society and he works accordingly. Bill Gates did a lot. Bill Gates bought MS-DOS in some form from another company, licensed it to IBM, and built upon that, made billions of dollars. But Bill Gates himself didn't do it, right? He hired engineers and he hired all these other people at what we call discount. In other words, after these people developed different things for Bill Gates, he paid them at a discount. So the excess value of whatever they produced didn't go to them, the people with the intellect, the intelligence, the foresight to create these things. It went to Bill Gates. So we created a structure where we made that a normal thing. If you are the capitalist, if you are the owner of capital who is buying labor, everything ascends to you. Now, most people, they get a job, they work, and they don't notice those things. But as we grow older and as we get more intelligent, we constantly wonder, why are there all those rich people sitting down at their pools, just investing money into different companies? Other people do the work, and you get the spoils. And you try to give those people who are doing the work as little as possible. Good afternoon, Tiala Wilson. As little as possible. And whatever your profits are from these endeavors, you keep. The very small 1% keeps. The 10% we keep very, very happy. And the 20% a little less happy. And then everybody else, they're just working their asses off. That's capitalism. In other words, your value has, the money that you make has little value compared to the work you provide to these people, right? So eventually people would start realizing this, and it's like, wait a minute, why the hell am I working so hard when you get the bonuses, when you get the profits, when you get all these things? But if I can create a tiered level of a country, of a place, of an existence, where we can gradate people, right? You are in the lowest part of the pecking order. You are the middle part of the pecking order. And again, it happens in every society. You can look at the caste system in India. It's not like this is not a thing against white people or a thing against any particular kind of people, because societies do this all along. It's a caste system, and they try to create a defining factor that separates people, right? The only reason we use that defining factor in the United States is that, hey, we could bring these people that look like nobody else, and since we've already killed off all the natives here to take their land, we bring these others in, we put them at a lower standard, we have some people believing, at least I'm not them, and then you can build your society, a graded society. Now, most people don't look at Bill Gates as being the problem. Bill Gates has a nice smile. Bill Gates fairly handsome. And Bill Gates looks like he's doing a lot of good by investing in companies that are going to make a vaccine and all those things. Nice things. He's doing good things with his money. But it's his money. And he's the one directing it. One person. A dictatorship. However, if there was some other type of system where we were valued for what we produced, where we were valued for our real worth, then we could have a real society where that engineer that develops a product and that products take off, he's the one that gets he or she is the one that gets the bonuses and the spoils. Not somebody that is adding numbers and somebody putting their capital. It's the other guys that put his intellect and his arms and his hands and everything at risk. Only way to keep that stuff, only way to start with the major gradation. You start by doing things on race. So you eliminate about 25% of your population, actually more than that now. 13% black, and then Latinos and all those other folks. And when I say Latinos, I mean Latinos of races other than white. But you go ahead and you degrade all these different things like that. And then you have the pecking order sort of institutionally reversed. Check this out. The people that were enslaved, the people that were whipped, the people that police take the most advantage of, the people that have the least in society, those who have on the order of magnitude more, are taught to fear them. So here my white brothers and sisters fear the black man, the black woman. You fear them. And you have to ask yourself from a psychological point, how could that be? These are the people that were dominated in this country. These are the people that the police can take advantage of and continuously get off. These are the people that their rights are abused all of the times. These are the people that allowed you to whip them and work in the fields. These are the people that did all those things. And somehow you fear them. There are other things that you have to look at in this issue. Think about this. You know, there were times that people say, oh, black men, we're scared of the black men. They're going to rape all the white women. But if you take a look at the black community with all the mulattoes and the different colors in the black community in the United States, even though most came from the what coast? West Coast. You see that most of the raping wasn't occurring by black men. It was white masters and white leaders and all of these guys, including some of our presidents, who were raping black women. So you have been taught to believe. You have been taught to believe all these things about black people, about black men, about indigenous people as being dangerous. And these people are, you know, they're coming for what's yours, not realizing that the converse is what was always true. Oh, on TV you see a lot of crime being committed by minorities. You see that on the news. You see it, but when you look at the statistic, even the FBI statistics people talk about, you see who killed more. Yeah, black on black crime, 90%. White on white crime, 80-something%. Yeah, 40-something% of the murders are by minorities. Actually, it is by distressed communities. That's what it is. Not minorities, distressed communities. So you have to create an active session of racism. You have to have racism to keep this particular strata going. Because if you don't, people start asking the correct questions and people start realizing what's real. People start saying, oh my God, you mean we have been snowed all along? We have been lied to all along. Donald Trump is just doing it on steroids. Donald Trump goes out there and tells people, don't worry, coronavirus is just a flu. It's not like this has not been done before. It's not like what Donald Trump is just everything America has been on steroids. Donald Trump just knows how to do it without class. But all our past presidents knew how to do it with class. We could create all kinds of disdains. We could create all kinds of interactions with people to lie to them and let them fear that which they needed not fear. A lot of us have paid the price for that, specifically black people, specifically indigenous people, specifically Latinos of indigenous and other descent. And they have paid that price because we had allowed ourselves to be snowed for decades. Because we use racism as a method of control. We use racism as a method to continue a capitalist structure that hurts all but a few. Even those who have some. After death, many of them realize they lose so much of it because not the estate tax. Because at the end of life is usually very expensive because we give all our money right back to the doctors, to the hospitals, the corporations, the capitalist structure. So it would be great if we all understood these concepts completely in much more detail than we do. And that is going to happen And that has begun to happen. Gen X, Gen Zs, Gen Ys, they're getting it. And that's why all this rift that you see going on in the streets today, all the rioting, all the protests, all these things that are going on, and it's all multicultural. And it's going on that way because they are no longer buying the Kool-Aid that too many have bought for several decades. Well, not several decades, since the inception of this country. Since the inception of this country, we have been lied to. And the divisions that we have among races, the divisions that we have among genders, the divisions that we have among all these things were perpetrated by a few to control us all. I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel and please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.